Hello and welcome to Baer's Anime Club, an ongoing video series where I talk about things I want to talk about in the world of anime. I'm Baer. This is my anime club. And yeah, we're going to talk about a topic, and you may have guessed it. Maybe you saw the show description. Maybe you saw the title of this video. Maybe you're coming in cold. But anyway, at this point, you can see from around me, we're talking about, oh yeah, Christmas in Anime, Part 2. Now, in the show description below this video on YouTube, you will find a link to Christmas in Anime Part 1, where I talked about some of my favorite episodes in series or a whole series that was about Santa and Christmas, and talking about Christmas in anime, things that I really appreciate about them, stories that are fun or silly or heart wrenching, that work in the plot, sometimes that are just because it's just a slice of life chill show. It's just another episode, but it happens to be about Christmas, and recommended a few. And then I even talked about one of the worst examples, which I'm still not going to show the photo. You could Google it yourself if you want to see Christmas jinx in Pokemon. Santa is real in the world of Pokemon, and it's a problem. Anyway, we're doing part 2. Also, this is the thing I wanted to do, wrap up the year this way, but I don't always want to just do Baer's Anime Club of things I want to talk about. If there's something you think I should cover, maybe you want another explainer, explain Isekai, maybe there's a subgenre you'd like me to go into detail. Maybe I could talk about the history of the slice of life, or even the subset of slice of life anime, the a collection of girls really excited about a thing slice of life anime. Maybe that would be a topic I can do in the future. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see me do. Maybe you want to see another part 2 or part 3 or part 4 of something I've done in the past. I don't think I've done anything 3 times. So maybe I don't have it in part 4 in me yet. But let me know what you want. Anyway, I talked about them before. Now I'm going to talk about some other shows. And I want to look here. All of these are good examples, and one of them is technically it's Christmas, but like it's if you just were like, I don't know, I'll watch something Christmas related, but it's not about the holiday, I've got something for you too. So let's talk about Toradora. Toradora is a great romantic comedy. It's comedy. There's action. There's drama in it. Young people trying to figure things out. It is the conceit is in some ways annoying, but in some ways very honest. And it's that characters that like other people who are then put together and kind of realize, oh, I think we like each other, but maybe we don't. But maybe we're helping each other get the people we want, and maybe we're unlikely, but maybe we do vibe really well together. It's a lovely show, and this episode, it's literally, if it's not the climax of Toradora, it is approaching the climax of Toradora. It's building. These are important events that are happening right here. And I think it's totally worth your time. I think the show is great, and I think that these are excellent examples. This is an excellent example of how to do Christmas right, as at the nostalgic holidays and the vibe. And also the fact that Christmas is for young people in Japan. It is an adoption of Western culture. It is adoption of college kids who are hanging out with Westerners who are also, studying abroad, who are bringing their own interpretation. It is Christmas is not necessarily a thing you do with family. That's more New Year's. This is more what you do with friends. And I think anime clearly adopt that not only to reach an international audience, but also because the people that are watching the programming are like, yeah, this is what I do with my friends, but not because it's anime. Let's talk about another great example. Oh, K-On! Spoke earlier about the girls who are into a thing, a group of girls into a thing, predominantly in high school. So, I'm showing photos here that, most of the photos here are going to be about the family element of it. But we do have, because there's a lot of flashbacks about how this family celebrates Christmas together. But it's also about the Light Music Club coming together and celebrating Christmas, and does it, as this photo at the top left here may indicate, the fact that there is it's a reference to a scene. It does feature my least favorite thing about one of my pet peeves that I've mentioned before, which is the irresponsible teacher character, and that is a thing that I'm just sick of. but in this particular instance, it's not terrible because it does move the plot along a little bit. But it's light. It's these characters coming together, celebrating Christmas, being together, being friends. The inclusion of the younger sister and seeing how that relationship works, and also the inclusion of like the girl who's not in the group but is friends there too. And it's a good time. As I said, it's ruined a little bit by the irresponsible um, uh, class advisor slash teacher, but they can't all be perfect. Um, Here's another one that this is a show you might be surprised because it is a shonen. And shonen don't often have the Christmas episode, so you might be surprised to see that I've included a shonen on this list. But it's Doctor Stone, and it's is it a trivial moment? It's a moment that fits well in the plot, the for the show, and also speaks to the overarching theme of this is a guy who's just like he doesn't know how to communicate with people, but he did a really nice thing. It's like I want to show off electricity and I want to test electricity. A lot of times when he's testing things, like he tests his wire making, but he makes cotton candy with it. And they even say in the show, he kind of just wanted to give a girl some cotton candy, something sweet, like give him a candy present. And this way, it's getting people on board, it's bringing people along for what they're doing, but it's also a really cool thing and a little bit of memento for him for his own Christmas of his past. Um, but it also was just like decorate a tree around Christmas. Like that's just a nice thing. Like he's a weirdo and somewhat evil of a genius. He's not an evil genius, but he acts like an evil genius, and he's still got a heart to him. It's a lovely sentiment in a show that has some touching moments in it. Okay, so let's just get into this is Friends. Is there a little sadness in this one? There's a touch of sadness, but mostly this is just more adorable. Umaru-Chan. Himouto Umaru-Chan. Now, look, if you don't like her temper tantrums, I can understand that, and that this show isn't for you, because she does have them. But if you just like this, like, well, but this beautiful girl is kind of like a sloppy gamer and anime fan, or she's just like a sloppy otaku in her life and wears like her outfit. I love that her hamster cloak has antlers on it. That's how she's celebrating Christmas. I love seeing all the different characters come together to celebrate. The idea that she's got these, she's got friends now. She's got like a good tight knit crew. And yes, these are like weird. Is it manipulation? It is. It is, isn't it? Yeah, because like there's characters that don't know her real personality, and characters who've seen her real personality, and it's all kind of a mess, but it's like a good mess, I guess. Um, but yeah, strong characters, good wholesome fun. It's like a good Christmas episodes for these characters. I think that Umaru-Chan is like it's a fun show, and I think that the characters play together really nicely in this Christmas episode. And then I'm going to throw an odd one in here. This is my technicality because it does take place on Christmas, so it technically counts. And also, I haven't talked about one of my favorite series of all time on an episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club in a long time. It's been a while since I talked about. Yeah, fuck it. Let's talk about Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. Endless Waltz, the OVA / movie, depending, because there's a theatrical release, but there's also just the OVA. Endless Waltz takes place on Christmas, and they talk about Christmas. There's Christmas trees and a couple shots. There's a Christmas party, and we have characters talk about Christmas. And how, like, hey, after all this stuff, now we can finally, like, celebrate, enjoy Christmas. But we can't because the plot of Endless Waltz happens. But yeah, it's, Gundam Wing is one of my favorite shows of all time. I haven't been able to talk about it. Maybe I should just do a Gundam episode. Should I do, like, I've done an episode on Should You Watch G Gundam. But I don't know if I've done what Gundam series you should watch. Like, where to start with Gundam. Because people have different opinions. Some people are like, just start with Gundam. It's on Funimation now. It's even easier to start with Gundam. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. That's a separate video. But this is technically a Christmas thing. This counts because it takes place there on Christmas. So it counts, and I can talk about it. Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. At the very least, it's got some of my favorite Gundam designs, and it tells a good story, and it's pretty. It moves at a pretty good pace, and it's pretty fast, and you get to see the characters that we're done. It's a one and done. There's no season 2 of Gundam Wing, so otherwise you gotta read the manga or watch Endless Waltz. So that's it. Yeah, that's going to do it. My next video is going to be superlatives. Last year I did the best of and worst of 2020. I don't want to do that. I'm going to be a little negative in it because I will have some negative superlatives, like the show that should have ended a previous season. Let's see. I'm going to do the best and worst anime of 2020. The ones that had really high highs and really high highs and really low lows. So I'll be talking about both those things, but positives and negatives. That's my next video. What's your favorite anime of 2020? You can put in the comments below. What's a superlative you give? Like, what's your favorite sports anime? Or what is the anime that surprised you the most? Or the anime that disappointed you the most? You can also include that. I would love to read it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please share it if you have anime fans in your life, or if someone's just like, I don't know, what can I watch this Christmas season? You can be like, here's some Christmas anime that Pat recommended. But yeah, I appreciate you watching. Leave a comment, share with a friend, as I said. Subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next Pat Baer's Anime Club. Goodbye.